start writing, how you can be creative in marketing your work. I'm going to talk about the money, how to start your business, because this is your business. And some of you may be thinking, well, I just want to do this right. I'm going to tell you in a minute how, if you do certain things, this is considered a business. So let me go ahead and get Kevin Reed. Thank you, thank you.
I could do the clicker system. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry. So what you'll learn today is how to mind your business, because this is going to be a business, trust me. How to form your business, how to plan your business, how to budget your business, and how to keep Uncle Sam happy, because he can be upset. Next. Okay, just a little bit about me. I'm a serial entrepreneur, have been one since 1996, been in the publishing industry since 1998. I've been a published author since 2001. I write in various genres. I am semi-retired. I used to help people edit, publish from start to finish. I am now retired from that. I'm just now a full-time photographer. And my granddaughter and I that you guys saw out there, we have a brand that we are YouTube content creators now, so I'm working on that. And I still write. I still for myself. And my educational background is in computer sciences and information technology. I'm originally from Denver, Colorado, and my passions are my family, my photography, and my writing. Those are my three loves here besides God. God is the first. Next. Okay, now questions. Actually, if you guys want to ask questions, I can go ahead and take questions. Last time we had a bigger crowd, so we had to wait to the end. So you can kind of just ignore this, but if you do have questions, you can email me. I believe my information is on the handout that I gave you guys. Is it on there? It's not, okay. I gave it the handout. Go ahead and write that down real quick if you guys want to. It's Yolanda at YolandaMJohnsonBryant.com. And I'll be happy to answer any questions, but I'll let you guys know I am busy. I retired, but it's I'm more busy now since I retired. Don't ask me why. But the best way to contact me is via email. I'm not the kind of person who likes sitting on the phone and talking. I'm sorry, I just don't like doing that. So send me an email, you'll get a faster response. Next. Okay, before I get started, one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make is not doing their research. So if you don't take anything from here, and this applies to Shelva's part, Letitia's part, and my part, research. Because we've all told you things as how they work for us and how they pertain to us. You may have a different idea and go out and try exactly what we've tried, and it may not work. You come back and say, well, Shelva, Letitia, and Yolanda did do this and it didn't work. Well, the thing about this industry is that it's constantly changing. You should always do your research. At the beginning of each book, do some research, because everything is constantly changing in this industry. Back in the day, self-publishing used to be a stigma for various reasons that I won't get into. That's another topic for another day. But we've come far. We've not got where we want to get as according to the traditional publishers. But always do your research. You have to do research for your city, your county, your state. If you move, that's a different city, county, state. Whatever you're trying to do, what genre you're trying to do, there are different rules for everything and everybody. So constantly do your research, because I've had clients come to me who didn't do their research. They just thought, okay, I'm going to write a book here. Well, what am I going to do with this? Have you found out what market you want to market to? You know, do you want to market to kids? Do you want to market to elderly people? They don't know nothing. They just want to write a book. But they've not done any research. They've not followed any other authors. They've not talked to any other authors or anything. So don't be one of those people. Go ahead and do your research. It'll save you time, money, and heartache, and money. I said money twice because I learned a valuable lesson. I'll be very expensive, but valuable lesson. Next. Okay, how do you mind your business? Minding your business starts long before you publish that book. Because after you write it, you got to think about things that pertain to getting that book published. Okay, disclaimer, I am not the IRS. I do not work for them, nor am I an accountant. This is another reason why you need to research and find your own accountant if you need one, and as it pertains to your situation. It's up to you to find out tax laws for the city and county and state that you live in, and you have to decide if you will treat writing as a hobby or business. Now this is that disclaimer. Let's say you say, I just want to write a book because I just want to, like Shelby did, journal. Okay, that's fine. But do you plan on selling any of your books to anybody? Or if you don't even plan, if somebody says, I want to read your book, and you're like, okay, wait a minute, I want to sell this book to this person for $15. That's fine. You sell 1 or 2 books, that's a hobby. But once those sales in the annual period becomes $400 or more, Uncle Sam considers it a business and he wants his cut. So keep that in mind, that this is what you have to face. Now, if you were writing one book and you wanted the book to be available in ebook, paperback, you want to be available in audiobook, hardcover, those are 4 different formats. Those costs add up over $400. You're a business. So keep that in mind. But also remember that just like a business, you can offset some of these taxes. So you got to keep track of all these expenses that you have. Next. Okay. How to form your business. Again, I've already said it's your responsibility to find out what the laws are for your city and state. Before your book is even finished, come up with a professional name for your business. Now, there are different ways you can establish your business. You can do the way that Letitia said. I don't remember if Shelby said how she did it, but you can also take $25 and go down to the city clerk's office and do it for $25. And then you can call the IRS and get your EIN number, and that's your tax identification number, and that's free. And you have to decide if you want to be a sole proprietor, a limited partnership, or a corporation. Now, mostly in these cases, you're not a corporation unless you turn out to be a big publisher. So you're going to either be a limited liability company or sole proprietor. The difference is, so let's say you wrote a book, or you decided, okay, I'm going to write a book. I think I know how to do this. I'm going to teach somebody else how to write a book. And they pay you to show them and help them. And they decide they want to come back and sue you because they didn't get what they wanted. If you're a limited liability corporation, they can only sue your business. They can't sue you, your house, your assets, or anything. Now, if you're a sole proprietor, you run into that issue. They can sue you, they can take your house, or whatever the case may be. So keep that in mind. However, as a sole proprietor, which is the most common, because all you do is you count it off on your income taxes each year under your regular Social Security number, or you can use that EIN. It depends on how much business that you do. Now, in the state of North Carolina, as of 2015, they no longer require a sole proprietor, unless they sell alcohol in the county, to have a business license. Now, if you have a limited liability corporation or a corporation, you have to have a business license. So they did get rid of that, and that was $15. File a fictitious name. Again, that's at the county clerk's office. The employee ID number, call the IRS. And obtain licenses, permits, and zoning and clearances. Okay, let me go down. I already went over some of this stuff here. Now, decide that if you're going to do your taxes annually or quarterly. I would strongly suggest that you guys do them quarterly, because what happens when we sell count and pay at the end of the year? At the end of the year, we're paying stuff on, if you own a home, you're paying property taxes, whatever, and that money adds up, and you have to come up with this large sum of money at the end of the year. By either paying quarterly or opening an account, so say you have a business account, open a savings side and put your taxes in that saving each quarter and don't touch it, and do it that way, because Uncle Sam wants his money. Open a business checking and a business saving, and if you can, business credit. Do not commingle your business funds with your personal funds, because you can get in trouble. How many times have you had a credit card and you're like, okay, I think I want to go to Dillard's and buy something. Well, I haven't got enough money. Well, I can use that business credit card. Do not do that. You don't do that. I know people who have done that and got in a lot of trouble. Research comes into play also when you want to find out what you can write off. And there are so many things that you can write off. Again, do your research. Also, the IRS has a list of things that you can write off. You can write off a portion of your house. Like if you have a one room that you use an office, you can write that off. You can write off lights, supplies, machines, computers. What? Transportation, debt mileage. The mileage is up a little bit this year, so make sure you get that mileage report done. It's a lot of stuff that you can write off, so make sure you know what that is. I mean, if you take a person to lunch, if you guys even bring up a book, that's a business meeting. You can write that lunch off. So anything that has to do with your,
No, because we took a trip to New York and we actually did a deal up there. And
right. So anything that has to do with that business, or if that business was discussed during that time, you can use that as a write-off. Be careful, don't be, trying to cheat stuff, because some people try to buck the system and they get caught when they get audited. Next. I said, don't go crazy because the IRS will eventually audit you, they will. Okay, in addition to what you've learned here, there is more. You have to create a marketing plan, create a budget. On the following slide, you will find examples of expenses to include in your budget. Register and join with local and national associations. Research local and national conferences, festivals, and workshops. And Letitia explained that already. Set up book signings and be creative. Collaborate, research. Next. And the reason why I bring up marketing plan, even though Letitia talked about it, sometimes people make up marketing plans. They just say, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to market to this person, this business. I'm going to use Facebook and whatever. We don't do a budget. Yes, I want to strongly urge you guys, if you can do the free stuff first, always do the free stuff first. Now, I will say, don't do the free stuff if you don't have to do the free stuff. And I say, some people will try to skimp and they get a poor product. So know when to use free and know when not to use free. Letitia said, Facebook, Instagram, all those are free for now. If you guys know when they first came out, they were all free. Now they all have pay sites. Now most of them are starting to sell on the stock market, the stock exchange, which means I guarantee you in about 10 years, at least half of them are going to be pay sites, especially LinkedIn. They'll be the first one to go pay sites. So, but right now, while it's free, use it. But for the stuff that you can't get for free, write that in your marketing plan, in your budget, because if you're making flyers, like someone said they saw a flyer, that's how they found out. I believe Letitia and Shell would make the flyers, right? They had to pay to get, okay, Charlene had to do it. They had to pay to get it. They had to pay the ink, they had to pay for the paper, and whatever else. That's an expense, exactly. That's an expense. So write that off in your, you have to get business cards. Write that off. Anything that you have to do, spend money on, think of that when you're doing your marketing plan. And I'll tell you why that's important as well, as far as, except for, besides keeping you on track. Let's say you want to go to someone and you want them to be an investor. You have this big idea for your book, but you don't have the money. But you want someone to believe in you. And you may have a family member with their attorney or their accountant, and they want to say to you, well, what are your plans for this? I need a solid plan. What is your budget for this? They're going to want to see that to say, well, if you don't have a solid business plan or a solid marketing plan, you're not going to, take my money and just do whatever with it. So that's why it's important. And also to keep you on track. Now, some of the examples of expenses. Independent contractors. Why would I need an independent contractor? You need somebody to edit your book. And no, not that everybody hires an editor. I do strongly suggest you hire an editor. Because that was one of the stigmas that was on the self-publishing industry. Too many books went to market with all kinds of errors and things in them. But if you can afford it, now if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. But I strongly suggest if you can afford it, hire an editor. And someone put on here earlier that it's $40 to $70 an hour, and that is how some charge. But I used to be an editor, and I charge by the word. Thank you. So I charge by the word. So make sure you're clear if you decide to hire an editor, how they charge and what they charge up front. Get it in writing. Get it in writing. This protects you and it protects your client. So, or protects you and protects them. And you have it in writing. So if he does go to court, because I have dealt with some people who have lost thousands and thousands of money because they didn't get anything in writing. The editor took them for whatever, and they had to, one person, they spent over $10,000 and had to come back to me and spend $2,500 for me to edit it. When I told them in the first place, don't go to this person because you have to research the people too. If you go to an editor, say, can I see some of your work and can I have some of your references? And you contact them people. How did this person do for you? If they say, you will have a naysayer. And this is how I do this. I do it like I do reviews. If you go on Amazon, if all reviews say a product is bad, you pretty much steer away from it, right? But if 70% of the reviews say it's good and 30 say it's bad and 1 says it's really bad, the 1 probably just has bitter grapes because it didn't turn out the way they expected it to. So just do the same thing with editors. Printing. Letitia uses a local person. I use Ingram and CreateSpace, and they charge to print. And you have to decide too. Letitia likes to keep books on her, and I like to keep a few. Letitia's a walking, I keep using her, but she's a walking billboard. So, but it's good to always have a book with you, but some of us don't like to have all that inventory. I have a granddaughter who now lives with me. So my office has now become her bedroom. So the space that I had before for all my books, I no longer have. So I really can't keep that much inventory on me. So decide if that's what you want to do. Marketing, of course, you need a budget for that. Office supplies, furniture, equipment, mortgage allotment, rents, postage. Now, what do you mean by rent? A lot of people can't afford to buy a copy machine. Some people may want to print their own books, because you can do that. They may not be able to afford a computer right up. You can rent this stuff. I'm a photographer. I have my own camera, but if I wanted one of those expensive cameras, I can go rent one for a day. So you can do stuff like that, and you can write that off as well. Postage, how many times we get people emailing us who have written a book saying, can you mail me one of your books? I'll pay you via PayPal. You got to pay for that postage, and you can write that postage off as well. Memberships and subscriptions to books like Writer's Digest, to organizations, writing organizations. You got to pay memberships, write all that stuff off. And it's important, keep a book. I forget what they call them. They're the books. Thank you. Keep a ledger for every expense, and then keep every receipt. My husband will tell you, I don't care what kind of, if he went to the gas station, he would buy a piece of gum, I want that receipt, because I'm going to log that receipt. And when I go back and do my taxes every quarter, I want to see which one I use for my expenses. It also helps me decide where I'm spending too much money at, each year, if I can allocate my money elsewhere. So keep those. Travel. You might travel to, you're here in North Carolina. They may be having a book conference in Atlanta, Georgia, which I do a lot. So, you either fly, you drive, you pay for the conference fees, whatever. You write all that stuff off. Driving, mileage, again, you keep track, I believe, again, do your research. The last time I checked, it was 26. The 26 or 58 cents.
Are you talking mileage?
Yeah, mileage per.
It's 40, I thought it was 48.
Is it 48? Okay, so
unless you said it went up a little bit or something.
I thought it did. I thought it went to 50 something. But check it. Don't take
It'd
my
be
word
good
for
to
Yeah, check it. So you get per mile. Do that. Also, books and continuing education. You have to pay for your books. Yes, you have to pay for printing. So if you decide not to go Letitia's route and go the other route, you still have to pay for those books. So even though it's free to create your book through CreateSpace, you still have to pay for that book. So you can say CreateSpace or Amazon, it's the same company. I want 200 books. Send me 200 books. They're going to charge you to send those books plus postage. You write all that stuff off. And continuing education. You may, a course like this. Now these are free. Again, try everything free that you can. But there are some courses or some things like this, workshops, where you have to pay for it. And if you think it's valuable enough, take it. But write off that membership fee or the workshop fee. Next. Okay, how to keep Uncle Sam happy. Again, do not commingle your checking, savings, and expense accounts. Some of you who may be married may not want to commingle. You know how that is. You don't want to commingle. That's another subject. Know what you can and cannot write off. This is very important, because some things that you may think that you can write off, you may not be able to, depending on the square footage of your house. You may only be able to write off maybe 3 feet of your house. Maybe if you use your whole office, for example, I have the spare bedroom is my photography studio and my office. So I use it for both. So I can write off my whole room. But if you have a room that somebody sleeps in, but you're over in the corner with the desk, you legally cannot write off that entire square footage for your business. Again, decide when you're going to file your taxes. Keep good records and keep them for 7 years. I guarantee you, if you do not, 4 years from now, 5 years from now, Uncle Sam is going to come back and say, okay, you noticed this. Do you have your receipts? And you're going to be like, no. So it's going to be basically your word against theirs. So keep yours for 7 years. I say typically 7 years because that's when something with credit stays on your credit report, and it goes off in 7 years. Consider renting equipment if you cannot buy it. I just stated that. Considering bartering services. Okay, so you have the 3 of us here. So she markets, Letitia markets, and Shella inspires, or she consults. Let's say she's a consultant on writing the book. So I may come to her and say, can you consult me on doing this? In the meantime, I'll edit the book. If I'm a professional editor or whatever, I'll edit for you. That way, no money really exchanged hands, but you guys got both got what you needed. So consider that. If you're not good with numbers, consider hiring an accountant. If you can't afford an accountant, because my husband used to be one, they're very expensive. QuickBooks, things like that can help you as well. Try to keep as much money in your pocket as possible. So again, try everything that you can that's free, but don't be cheap. Again, when you skimp on your cover, when you skimp on your editing and other services, it's going to show, and you don't want to do that. It takes money. You have to spend money to make money, and we all know that, right? And you get what you pay for. So if you hire an editor that you did research and you didn't find out what their references are, and they claim this and that, and you get an editor that your book is still riddled with errors when you get it back, you paid it for it. You didn't get a contract or whatever. You didn't find out, so you're out of your money because you want to go back and get it edited correctly. Next. Okay. How to contact me? I already gave you guys my email address. I'm at YolandaMJohnsonBryant.com or YolandaJohnsonBryantPhotography.com. There's my email address, my phone number. I'm on social media at YMJAuthor or my full name. Again, you can call me.
She's not gonna return it.
No, that's not true.
Not in the timely manner.
Right. No, that's not necessarily true. I will call back in a timely manner. And my idea of timely manner is 24 business hours. But if you want a quicker response, send me an email. It will be a quicker response.
That's right.
So, if you have any questions, anybody have any questions?
I just have something to say. I'm actually an auditor. I audited with North Carolina Revenue for, actually auditing for 5 years, but I worked with them for 13. And now I audit with the Employment Security. And there was a lot of good information you had on there. And I will just emphasize that a lot of people think because they're just themselves, they're just a sole proprietor, they don't understand that for us, a business is a business is a business.
Right.
The fact that it's just you versus Walmart with hundreds of thousands of employees, to us, it makes no difference. As soon as you hang up your shingle and you say you're a business, we're going to treat you like a business. And I have had, I don't know how many sole proprietors or even some S corporations who mix their business accounts, business checking with their personal, and they don't understand. That means I get to look at every personal expense they have, because now it's all mingled in together. So to me, it's all the same, whereas if they have a separate business account and I'm auditing the business, I'm not going to touch your personal checking and savings account, because that's what I do. I audit businesses. But like I said, I mean, if you, once you get to that part, and not meaning to scare you, but just to understand, like I said, once you get to that part and you say, I'm selling this, I am a business, it's no longer a hobby, then just remember that you are a business. The fact, like I said, it's just you. It's not going to make any difference to us in what we're looking for. We're still going to look for you to have your taxes done correctly. We're still going to look to make sure that you're writing off stuff that looks reasonable to us. And just the fact that, well, it's just me and I didn't know, it's really not going to help you in the end with us.
And you have some who say they didn't know, and they know. I've dealt with several clients who I told, okay, they'll say, well, I'm not a business. I'm just writing a book.
Yes.
I want to sell a few books.
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
Yeah.
If you want to write a book, that's fine. Then make books and just give them away.
Exactly.
Do not sell them. Because again, once you get that